Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, there's so many different ways to fish, but right now, something has struck me in my experiences over the last week or so. And the Oswegatchie River, again, I've talked about it a lot this week, but that's where I've been able to locate myself and watch other people. And what I've seen is that people that are able to troll this river have a much better chance of catching fish. Not the people from shore can't catch a whole bunch of fish, but by trolling, you can keep your lure, whatever it is, or your bait, whatever it is, in the fish zone. And what is the fish zone? The fish zone is the current, the way that current flows through that river. That's where all these schools of walleyes are sort of hanging out, waiting to go back in the St. Lawrence eventually. And there's just numbers of fish there. So every boat that I watched troll, they were constantly hooked up to fish. A lot of people from the shoreline weren't doing as well. And here's why. If you had a good rod and reel and you could cast out far, if you were standing on shore, you could cast out to the middle of the river. In the middle of the river is where the fish basically were. I mean, they're scattered, but they're basically in that current area. But what happens when you're fishing from shore is you're pulling your lure across the current back into the slower water and finally back to shore. You weren't keeping it in the fish zone nearly the same as somebody that was able to troll. And if ever a time I could see the power and the meaning and the reason that so many people troll, it was watching the people in the Oswegatchie River. Those boats trolling, it didn't matter. They were catching fish after fish after fish. And I will tell you also that of all the walleye that I saw caught, there was hardly a one that was legal size. And this is important to talk about. Whenever we're fishing these tributaries of the St. Lawrence River, whether it be the Grass River, the Oswegatchie, the Racket, or any of these other rivers, the regulations are different on the lower sections of the water before the first impassable barrier. So example, where these people are all fishing in downtown Ogdensburg, that's still considered the St. Lawrence. So to keep a walleye, it has to be 18 inches. You get above the dam, and it's 15 inches, which it is in most of the other waters of the state. But in the Great Lakes water system, in the St. Lawrence River, it's 18 inches. And it's the same with muskies, with all kinds of different fish. It's important that you understand that there's different regulations in the lower parts of these waters, because the DEC knows that the primary population of fish are going to be St. Lawrence River fish. They're not going to be isolated species that exist above the barriers. So it's important to know. But the other thing I want to tell you is that if you don't troll, if never had the ability to do that, and I know some of my friends don't enjoy it, by golly, it's a fabulous way to keep your bait where the fish are. And that's really important. The other thing that I want to add here is that the best way to troll was trolling up against the current as opposed to going with the current. Speed is going to be different. Presentation is going to be different. And it seemed easier to keep that bait at the speed and in the area you want to keep it if you were going against the pressure of the current. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.